But I remember when I would tell my friends about this story, about this girl, I got like a gendered response. Men, when I would talk to them about this story, would be like, are you sure? This is kind of crazy. Like, how do you know you feel so strongly about this girl? And women, when I would tell women about this story, they'd be like, oh, who knows? Oh, like life is crazy. Things could work out. And it was more fun to tell the story to women because they would have this kind of positive reaction to it.
I love that observation. Howdy, un servus, y'all, and welcome back to another episode of The Pod Abroad. My name is Paulina de los Santos, and on this show, I share my life as an American who has been living in Germany nearly 10 years now, and also have conversations with several international friends who also are based here in Munich, Germany. And today's episode is a special one because we are welcomed by Jeremy, who moved to Germany for love. And that is going to be what we're getting into today. I think a lot of people who have been on the pod have moved for significant others as well. But we haven't been able to fully kind of deep dive into it. So yeah, very happy to have you here today, Jeremy.
Thanks for having me.
And can you give yourself a little intro for the people?
I'm like nervous right now. That was really professional. I didn't expect that. I'm Jeremy. I'm Canadian. I started flirting with a German girl 4 years ago, and then I just kept flirting with her, and now I live in Germany. I've been here for a year and a half. We've been dating like long distance, short distance for 4 years now.
I love that. So shout out Isa.
Isa Reichert.
We're going to be speaking about her and their relationship today. I think the idea of one moving across the world for love is an exciting one. It can be a scary one. It's a big life decision, right? So if any of that interests you, then this episode is definitely for you. But I want to kind of lay the foreground and ask you, where are you from in Canada? And is that where you were living before you moved to Germany?
So I'm from Montreal originally. I was living in Ottawa and Toronto. Montreal's in like the French part. Ottawa and Toronto are in Ontario. And then I met Isa in Vancouver / the Rockies on like a group tour.
That's crazy. Oh my gosh. So not at like university or anything, a group tour. We're going to get into it.
Yeah.
But tell me more about growing up in Canada.
Pretty great. It's kind of like the US, but colder. I think there is part of moving here was realizing that the stereotypes that people have about your culture are actually kind of true, like in terms of friendliness, politeness, just how nice Canadians are. Really nice growing up in kind of Canada. Yeah, I didn't have anything prepared for what it's like in Canada.
No worries. It's just you are the first person on the Pod Abroad from Canada. And surprisingly enough, like I haven't met a whole lot of Canadians based here in Munich. It's typically like Americans, or I have some Mexican friends as well. So you're completing the North American continent today.
Yeah. I think I know only like 3 Canadians here. But yeah, it's a lot more Americans, a lot more, I don't know, people from the Middle East, people from Australia sometimes, but no Canadians.
Interesting. I find it hard to distinguish when someone's Canadian. Like if I were to hear you, I'd probably immediately like ignorantly think like American.
Yeah.
Unless, so there are a few little signs that I have when I can pick out Canadians when you guys say house.
Okay, house?
House.
House. I don't know if I'm saying it right.
I think you're saying it Canadian.
Okay, house.
House.
Yeah.
I would probably say house. And Canadians say house. I don't know. I hear that with that word particular. And then also when you guys say like grade 3.
Grade 3.
Do you guys say that?
3.
Or like the grade 4?
Grade 4. No, I don't know.
Do you not say that?
No, I don't know if this is even, well, maybe it's a stereotype I haven't heard of, but no, house in grade 3.
Yeah, like in school, like, oh, I was in grade 3 or whatever.
What do you guys say?
In the US, we'd say 3rd grade.
Oh.
Or 4th grade.
Oh, yeah. No, that is true. Yeah, I would say grade 3. Yeah.
Yeah, no, like that's something that I feel like I'd never say. And those are like tiny little giveaways that I'm like, okay, Canadian.
Yeah.
But
But
other
a
than
lot of people
that,
assume American or ask me where in the US I'm from.
mm,
There was a guy from Texas who started talking to me and started making like 51st state jokes. And then I was like,
ooh.
I'm not going to be friends with you, man. Like, this is, yeah.
Oh
But,
man, I've never been to Canada,
mm,
so I do find it very interesting when I do get to speak to
mm,
Canadians, and I think there's a lot of cultural similarities
mm,
from the English-speaking parts. But I also do know, of course, like French Canada is a whole other world, even
mm,
for
mm.
English, kind of like the English part of Canada,
Yeah.
English-speaking part.
Yeah.
Um,
And like indigenous people as well, like
yeah,
super different.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, I've also read once before about Canada. Sorry, y'all. This is just an excited,
Yeah.
like, I'm excited to get into Canada a little bit.
Mm.
But that I think like something like 80% or more of Canadians live within like 100 miles of the border.
Yeah. 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 No one goes up north. Like
Yeah,
it's,
except well, indigenous people.
yeah. And like
Yeah,
in the
because it's
territories and
cold.
stuff, yeah, it's just super cold. Like if you're not built for that, like you haven't grown up accustomed to that, I'm not sure there's any reason to live up there. But
Mm,
everyone lives in like Toronto, Montreal, Vancouver, and then further up north, you're either doing something for oil or you've like have a whole culture where you're surviving out there, but otherwise no one's out there.
yeah, just a different life.
Hmm.
So growing up in Canada, I wanted to ask you, were there any kind of preconceptions that you had, stereotypes of Germany?
Yeah, and I think they're like roughly accurate. Like it's
Ooh.
Germans love rules, Germans are highly organized, Germans hate when they're late to things or when you're late, and I think that's roughly accurate. Uh, but then there's also a lot of stuff that you wouldn't expect. Like I think Germans I'm discovering are unexpectedly romantic people. Like I know so
Mm.
many people who've moved to Germany for significant others,
Oh.
and it just feels like there's something in the water where yeah, people just form these really strong relationships and then it always ends up, I mean, maybe I'm just meeting those people, but it always ends up that it's someone moving to Germany, not the other way around.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's something that I wouldn't have expected from my preconceived
Ooh.
notions.
I love that you say that point. I've never thought of it that way. That oftentimes the person from the other culture ends up moving
Mm,
to Germany, and
yeah.
that's pretty telling,
Yeah.
right?
I mean, we're living in Germany. We might also only be meeting the people where
Yeah.
it works that
Yeah,
way,
that
not.
too.
But I do, it feels like it's happens a lot more. And I think it's because Germans are really big on family, at least Isa is.
Yeah.
And a lot of other people I've met, they can't really picture moving to a different country. But for me and my family, it seemed totally normal that I would just move here and it wasn't that big a deal. And for
Mm.
her, I think it would be kind of life changing.
Mm. I
So maybe that's why
see.
a lot of people do it.
Yeah. I want to get into now your love story with
Mm,
Isa
my
and
favorite
kind of,
subject.
yeah, take us to the beginning.
Hmm.
How did you guys meet? You said on a tour?
Yeah, we this is fun. I'm like a celebrity, like
Yeah.
just getting introduced.
Yeah. Tell me.
We met on a group tour where my friend and I wanted to travel on that side of the country. Like it's an 8-hour flight away.
Mm-hmm.
So neither of us had ever been to Vancouver or the Rockies.
Mm.
We got on this group tour that we booked. So you get on a bus with like 12 strangers.
Mm-hmm.
And then Isa was one of those people. Made friends with all these people. I started flirting with her. And then, we're going on a bunch of hikes and stuff. And I'm asking her how to say different things in German, like what's a tree, Baum, the sky, Himmel. And I learned really
Hmm.
basic German. And that was how I flirted because I couldn't think of anything else to do. And then I could feel like she was into me, but I also thought it was a little bit unrealistic. Like, I think I talked to my friend Chris about it, and he was like, "Yeah, man, come on, like, be a little bit more practical." Because she is, I think, pretty far out of my league. Like when you'll meet her
Aw.
later, but I was like, okay, it's on a group tour. I'm never gonna see this girl again. I might as well try, and I might as well try to kiss her. And she kissed me back, and it was great.
Aw.
And then we spent this group tour together, but it was just like an 8-day tour. And then after that, she was traveling to Toronto, which is where I live anyway. So
Mm.
I was like, hey, we can keep hanging out, we can keep seeing each other. And then we sort of
Did
honeymooned for a
you
month.
did you plan on going back to Toronto that quick?
Yeah, like I was
Okay.
already gonna go. Like we just had a small tour in Vancouver, and then I was going back to Toronto just to hang out with friends and kind
Yeah.
of. I just moved from Ottawa to Toronto, like
Mm-hmm.
finished law school and was starting a job there, and I was kind of just gonna get settled in and then start the job. But then it ended up just being more traveling, but now with her. And then she had a family friend come and we'd all traveled together. And then, yeah, just honeymooned for a month and it was really nice. But
Crazy.
then I thought it would be cool to do long distance. She didn't really want to do long distance.
After 1 month, you were like all in.
Oh, I was so all in. I was trying to be cool about it, but I was so into it.
What year was this?
This was 2022. So yeah,
Nice.
4 years ago.
Yeah.
And then I was just about to start a job. I had this whole like life set up in Toronto. And then, yeah, long distance didn't really make sense. We'd only been dating a month. It is perfectly reasonable that she was like, no, we shouldn't do long distance.
Yeah.
But we broke up in the airport. Not broke up, but like just sort of said no to
you
the
guys
idea.
had only been seeing each other for like a month.
No, the whole thing was kind of crazy.
But it was like a movie.
Like a sad movie. Like I thought at that point, okay, we're broken up. This is done. And I was just lucky to have this opportunity for a while. Like it was really, I felt really significant, even though it was just a month, because I kind of got to see like, this is someone who, again, super pretty, but also just her values and who she is as a person. It was such a healthy relationship. And I just wanted to sort of, I don't know, like it felt kind of nice to know, oh, you can have a relationship like this. This is what a really good relationship can feel like. And so I was really sad, but I was also happy that I had this opportunity. And then my friend Rachel gave me advice on like, here's how you get over a breakup. Here's how you find closure. And it wasn't super good advice. Like she told me
She tried.
But it was nice. I think it's worked for her. Her advice was you sit in a bathtub, you play sad music, and you eat ice cream while you cry.
I love that. That valid.
Yeah. And I thought, okay, doesn't sound like good advice, but I really trust my friend Rachel. I'm going to try this. And it didn't work. Like I just sat in a bathtub. I didn't cry. I ate too much ice cream and I wanted to throw up. And I was just still sad about this breakup. But anyway, then we were FaceTiming. It felt weird to talk every day and then stop talking. So we agreed to FaceTime that Sunday. And then we just kept FaceTiming every Sunday for like months until we didn't have to ask like, hey, are we still FaceTiming this Sunday? It just became a routine. And then that was, we built from there.
At what point did you guys kind of define the relationship? Like, okay, I think this is a long distance relationship. This is a little bit more serious than we thought.
Yeah. I remember this because it was New Year's. I went to a New Year's party with my mom and basically her friends have this really big place in like rural Quebec where it's a big kind of family party. It's all her friends. And then me and my brothers went to this New Year's party with her. And everyone there is either a couple, there are people with kids, or there are people who are above 40. And there was no one else there who's single except for me, I guess my brothers. And there was this one girl there who was also single. And I don't know, it's probably a thing in the US, like you kiss at midnight. It's like a tradition.
Yeah, you find someone or whatever,
yeah,
like in the movies. But I mean, also like in that scenario, exactly, one would think like, okay, we're the two single ones here.
Yeah,
Maybe there's something between us.
And it doesn't really have to be that significant. Like I've kissed people at New Year's that you don't really know each other. It's just like to have a kiss, you just sort of do it. And it's like a fun little thing. And my cousin came up to me and said, hey, are you single? And I gave a really weird answer because I didn't know the answer. I was like, I don't have a girlfriend, but like, there's this girl I talk to every day, and like, yeah, it's just we were seeing each other in the summer, and now we're not. And then my cousin was like, oh my god,
it's complicated.
I don't need the life story. Just I'm gonna say you're single, like you don't have a girlfriend. And I was like, yeah, I don't have a girlfriend. And I could feel this girl hanging around me, and especially as it was getting close to midnight. It's 11:40. She's hanging around me. It's 11:50. She's hanging around. And then I was like, oh, she probably thinks we're going to kiss, but I don't know. I'm single. I'm not in a relationship, but also this feels weird. So I just kind of ran away and I went to hang out with my mom and my brothers and just, we ate some kind of like strawberry pudding thing. Yeah. And I just avoided this girl. And I felt dumb about it. I felt like, okay, someone needs to give me a reality check here. I'm just talking to a girl. We had plans that I would visit her in April, but
That's serious?
But it wasn't like we're dating. It was just, I want to visit Germany. She would have me, like I can just go see her. And then we talk on Sundays. And I was thinking, okay, I need someone to give me a reality check and just say, Jeremy, you are single. You're not in a relationship with this girl. You should have kissed a girl at midnight. So that Sunday I told her this story and just saying, yeah, there was this girl at a New Year's party. It's a thing that you kiss at New Year's. And I just didn't kiss her. And I know that that's stupid because we're not together. And she was like, oh my God, I'm so glad you didn't kiss this girl.
Ooh.
She was like, you started the story. And I thought it was a story about how you kissed another girl. And I just felt so jealous and so like scared. And so, yeah, we have to be exclusive. And I was like, nice. This is great. This worked out perfectly for me. And then from there on, we were, still doing the same thing, but just now officially boyfriend and girlfriend.
Oh, that's special. So it was like an intrinsic feeling for the both of you.
Yeah. And it was nice. I think it made me a little bit feel like, okay, yeah, I'm not crazy here. Like she is also, I don't know, like jealousy I always thought is like an ugly emotion, but it is nice to be on the receiving end of it where you're like, yeah, you are jealous. Yeah, this is nice.
Oh, no, but I mean, the fact that you guys were on the same page was everything, right? That like the feelings were reciprocated.
Yeah.
Like she wasn't just like, oh.
Yeah, why did you do that? Dude, we just talk on Sundays. Like I've known you for a month, like relax.
But it was more for her too.
Yeah. So
that's really nice. Sweet. Yeah. Tell me about the first time that you went to visit her.
So like I keep a travel journal. I visited her in Mines. I keep a travel journal, and this was just a short trip of like 1 week in Mines. And for people who don't know Mines, it's not a great city. Like it's like a 6 out of 10 of a city. It's just okay. But if you read my travel journal at the time, you would think I was in paradise. Like we were doing such basic things like just going for breakfast or like sleeping in or watching a movie together, things that we do every day now. But at the time it felt like a dream trip. And it made me realize, okay, then we really have to make this work. Like if just hanging out and having breakfast with this person is so significant to me, I want to have breakfast with this person every day. And from that point forward, we were like our Sunday calls were just about whether she would move to Canada or I would move to Germany and exploring the options, different programs we could do. And yeah, for a while, I really thought she would move to Canada. Like she was really down to move to Canada. But then she got into her first choice veterinary school in Germany. And in Canada, for her to do the same program, it would be $70,000 a year for an international student. And here in Germany, it's €90 a semester. Yeah. Like there's dinners that cost more than her tuition.
It's kind of a no-brainer.
Yeah, like I don't know.
But she was down.
Yeah, she in theory would have been down to move to Canada, and she was exploring that. And I talked to her about it. Like she really was planning on moving to Canada, but then because she was down to do that, I had to explore, would I be down to move to Germany? And yeah, it seemed kind of realistic. It seemed like there was, opportunities there and I could do something. And so for a month, just figured out what I really want to do and then actually made the decision and then started planning moving here.
And you were looking out for y'all's financial future when you're like, ooh, $70K a year.
And it's like a long program and that's not even with like rent and stuff. It's just kind of crazy.
Yeah. So, okay, at that point, it felt pretty serious that you were like, okay, I think I'm going to look into moving to Germany. What did your friends and family think?
Okay, so this thing was weird. Friends and family, I think my family were a little bit less on board until they met her, and then they were like, oh, this is really
man, they hadn't met her.
No, like,
and you were like, I'm moving to Germany. Yeah, I'm gonna figure it out.
But like she was gonna, by the time I'd already made that decision, we made a trip where she was just gonna come to Canada and hit all the major spots that she hadn't hit. Like we were gonna go through Montreal and see my family, Ottawa and see my law school friends, Toronto and meet more of my Toronto friends, and then after that they were very comfortable with it. But I remember when I would tell my friends about this story, about this girl, I got like a gendered response. Like guys would have a certain reaction to the story and women would have a totally different reaction to the story. And I don't know what it is in like culture or upbringing or societal expectations, but like men, when I would talk to them about this story, would be like, whoa, like
you're folding.
It's not really practical. Like, are you sure? This is kind of crazy. Like, how do you know you feel so strongly about this girl? And women, even when I'd just broken up with her in the airport, when I would tell women about this story, they'd be like, oh, who knows? Oh, like life is crazy. Things could work out. And it was more fun to tell the story to women because they would have this kind of positive reaction to it.
I love that observation.
Yeah, it was weird. And it was just, I don't know, really consistent. Like I told a couple dozen people, and this was true across all of them. And I remember also, just getting really good advice from some friends where when I wasn't sure about this decision or when I was still trying to figure it out, I had certain friends that I really relied on to talk this out, that, they really explored the options with me and then helped me make, a really big decision, because it is hard to make a decision like this.
Absolutely. I think the bottom line I got from that is that men need to be a little bit more whimsical.
Yeah.
Like,
but like,
I mean, they were like pragmatic and
Yeah,
being like, okay,
pragmatic,
like let's think
real.
about this logically.
yeah. I think it's also maybe when I tell the story, they put themselves in my shoes, versus when I would tell women the story, they would put themselves in Isa's shoes, and then they were a little bit more hopeful for it. I don't know what it was, but it was also way more fun to tell women this story, because they'd be like, oh, like, oh, fun adventure.
Do you know the phrase Delulu?
Like delusional?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, online they're saying like Delulu is the Salulu.
Delulu is this? Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Like basically in online internet terms, being like, be a little delusional. When we kind of ground ourselves within like reality a little too hard, then like we don't get to kind of dream a bit and kind of see what could be.
Yeah. No,
You
100%.
had to have like a little level of delusion to be like, you know what? Like I'm just gonna uproot my life and do this.
Yeah. It is a little bit crazy, and it's, I don't know. Like, I mean, we explored the options. We were very practical about it, but at the end of the day, it is just taking a really big risk. And that was one thing that was hard for me. Was for a while I was like, yes, I'm gonna do this, and it's like, but I have friends here. I have a career here. I have all these things. I don't know this country. I don't speak the language. Like, this is kind of nuts. And it was hard for me to get over that hump and actually commit to this. But yeah, at a certain point, you just have to, I don't know, decide what you want and then just take a big risk.
Had you been to Germany before you had first visited Isa?
No, this is
So mine's was like your entry point.
Yeah.
To the
And I thought it was
country.
amazing. I was like, oh my God, they have sparkling water everywhere. Oh, they don't serve me water at a restaurant. Like, really, like, basic small details about Germany that I thought, oh, this place is magic. And it was just because I was in love and I was just really enjoying my trip. But it's, yeah, I think a nice country. I like it a lot.
That's super cute. There's also a saying of having rose-colored lenses, of just like basically, yeah, like when you're in love and you're just seeing everything with like these fresh set of eyes. I find that really sweet. What kind of questions were running through your mind then, like right before moving? Because you said, right, like job and friends, and what were those like?
I think the biggest thing for me, I kind of already mentioned it, but it was like, I was a yes, but like there was a lot of pros, there was a lot of reasons to do this, but there was always this hesitation. And I think it would be crazy for there not to be hesitation. Like, this is a huge move.
Yeah.
And I couldn't get to like 100% a yes, or I couldn't get to a yes without the but at the back of my head that was really giving me cold feet. And I would, at the time, I lived with my friend Dan. He was my roommate, and we would go on a lot of walks to Timmy's just to get coffee. And
What's Timmy's?
Tim Hortons. It's like this is actually a
chain.
huge Canadian stereotype. It's a Canadian coffee brand, like Dunkin' Donuts equivalents, but like started by a hockey player, and then everyone just loves it. It's
Nice.
It's just aggressively okay, but we all love it, and I wouldn't go anywhere else for coffee.
Yeah.
But me and my friend Dan would go on walks just to get Timmy's coffee because we just both liked it. And on these walks, it was like, looking back, it was all I would talk about. Like, I was just, he was being really patient of talking this stuff out with me. And I was always like, yeah, I want to move, but there's this, and yeah, I want to do this, but there's this concern. And at one point, I remember him asking me, okay, like, you've explored the option a lot. You looked at all these different angles. What is the other option? And he didn't mean that as like an impatient way of like, all right, dude, then just stay here, like whatever. He just really meant, what would the option be like if you broke up with this girl and just said no to this whole decision and just explained to her that this wasn't realistic?
Yeah. What would life look like?
Yeah. And I had genuinely hadn't considered it. Like, I had just been
Ooh.
so on the yes that and trying to almost force myself to be a yes without the but, that I hadn't considered a no yet.
Yeah.
And when he actually asked me that, I remember we were like halfway back from Timmy's, and by the time we'd gotten home, I realized I'm 100% a yes, because I realized, like, oh my God, a no would be so sad. Like, a no is just so, I couldn't even really consider actually being a no. So then, because it would just be like, I don't know, giving up without even trying. It would be like prioritizing career and money over like something that feels really significant and really important. And yeah, it might not work out, but I can't imagine being the type of person who wouldn't even try for it. So by the time
I
after he'd
love
asked that,
this.
it's like a 10-minute walk.
Yeah.
By the time we got back, I was like, okay, then I'm 100% a yes. And then I had to figure out, okay, like what is immigrating like? Can I learn German before I get there? What kind of visas can I get? What kind of job can I get? And that was like another year of planning and visiting and talking and figuring it out.
So it was on that day that you
Yeah.
would say,
Yeah, 100%. Like I
Yeah.
remember distinctly just the emotional reaction of actually picturing, hey, no, it's just, not realistic. It's not pragmatic. And I was like, oh my God, I can't. So then it made it a lot easier to
wow.
make the decision.
And how did Isa react?
I mean, positively.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty great news for her. Yeah, she was super happy about it. I think for her, it was more of a slow transition because we were just talking and I was always kind of a yes and I wasn't really talking about the but then privately I had this epiphany of like, okay, yeah, now I'm 100% a yes and we need to, just commit to this.
Figure it out.
Yeah.
So from that point, when you knew that you were moving, you said it took about a year of planning.
Yeah, it didn't really take a year. I just started a job at another law firm that was really great, like unbelievably good law firm. Like the culture, the people who work there, it's Alexander Holborn in Toronto, just a lovely place to work. And they're such good people. And they had just given me a job while I was deciding this. And it felt weird to just say, hey, I'm out in a month. So I was like, okay, minimum, I have to give them a year. And that also gives me time to plan. And yeah, they were phenomenal throughout. And then I told them like 3 or 4 months in advance, hey, actually, I'm moving to Germany. We should try to figure this out. And they were also so great about that. So yeah, I think I could probably have moved within 2 months or 3 months, but it just didn't feel right.
Yeah.
And also because you want to say bye to family and friends.
Absolutely.
Like, that takes a while.
Yeah. In what way did Isa help you kind of transition through the process?
I mean, I think just like being herself, like just being such a great person that like when I actually did move, I was like, okay, this was a great decision. Or like anytime I would visit, I was like, yeah, this is where I'm supposed to be. This is home for me. This is like the kind of relationship I want. And I don't think I could find this anywhere else. So I think that always made it easy because yeah, you have all these pragmatic concerns in your head, but when you're emotionally in the situation that you're trying to get to, you realize like, oh yeah, this feels right. And so made it a lot easier, I think.
I love that. So you arrived in 2024?
Yeah, I don't know the years. Yeah,
About
it must
a year
be
and a
like
half
October
ago.
2024.
Oof,
Yeah.
October. So like going into a German winter. But you're from Canada.
Yeah, the German winter
So,
is like not anything. I get
I
annoyed.
love that.
No, like people.
You're
I
like,
don't know.
oh,
Yeah,
this weak place? Like
I have been annoyed. I know it's like a cultural thing because I have Turkish coworkers and they were like, Bavaria is an ice planet. I don't know how people can live here.
dude, that's me.
Yeah, but
like from Texas. I
But
was like,
I don't know. To me, I was annoyed that we don't have snow, that it never really gets cold enough, that like you don't have the experience of like now it's winter and now you're back to, I don't know. It just felt like we went through a long fall and then it was just sort of done and now we're back in the summer.
Yeah.
And I do feel if I'm homesick for anything, it's just winter and like just being cold for a little while and having to deal with that.
That's wild. I love this perspective from a Canadian because most of the people who I've spoken with, like the weather was like a cultural shock. And
I think
a hard thing.
But when people come to Canada, I think that is a major cultural shock. Like I know so many stories of someone immigrates to Canada and then their neighbors have to like help them get through the winter, like de-icing their car, digging their car out of the snow.
These are things I don't know.
Yeah, like it's
about.
just, it's a whole life. And I think it kind of maybe the reason Canadian culture is the way it is because you do have to rely on the people around you. You can't be so self-important and rich and great that you don't need help from your neighbors every now and then. Like if the power goes out or if I don't know. The winter has also gotten a lot milder since I was a kid. And I think every generation is becoming less extreme with the winter just because of global warming.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of Canadian culture is just like, yeah, the winter is brutal. We're all in this together. We kind of deal with it.
I love that.
And
community.
Yeah. But then you don't get that elsewhere. And I don't know.
Yeah.
I miss the winter a little bit.
Being that you moved here in October, going into, I mean, like you said, the winter wasn't a problem, but what were the new things for you? What do you recall from your first few weeks here?
I mean, there's obviously, I think you talk about it a lot on, I've watched a couple episodes of this podcast.
But maybe people haven't. Maybe this is their first time hearing the pod.
I think das Lüften, like when Germans open windows and Germans are very concerned about the air quality in a room. Like I'll just be in a room and a German will go, oh my God, this is, you would die if you stayed in this room any longer. And then they have to open a window, even if it's the middle of winter.
Yep.
And that to me is kind of crazy. Like,
so y'all wouldn't do that in Canada?
No, because like I have in the back of my head, my dad just going like,
the energy costs.
Are you paying for the heating? Because like I'm not heating outside. Like, what are you doing?
My mom has said the same with the AC.
Yeah.
It's why would you open the window?
Yeah.
Like energy.
Yeah. No, my girlfriend, when she visited Toronto, she was in my apartment and she texted, how do I open the window? And I was like,
you don't.
Yeah. We were on the 36th floor. I was like, the windows don't open. And she was like, but then I'll die. Like, how can I deal with this?
I need fresh oxygen to the brain.
Yeah. And so that's a big culture shock. Sprudel, obviously, like sparkling water. I think I've really adopted sparkling water, but like
I love it.
Just that's a big thing. I think culturally Germans it takes some getting used to. Like they're very rule followers.
It's different,
they're very
right?
like cold when you first meet them, but then very warm when you get to know them. Oktoberfest, like just understanding like Grindel and Lederhosen and all that stuff, I think is a big change. But
for us here in Bavaria.
Yeah. Is it not a thing elsewhere?
It's not.
Okay.
Yeah.
In Berlin, they're not walking around.
Oh, no, not at all.
Okay. I didn't know that actually. I haven't been much outside of, I mean, I've been to Nuremberg, but I think that's still in Bavaria, and then Frankfurt and Mainz, but haven't been like very far up north, very, to the east or anything like that.
You'll have time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now that you live here, I feel like it's like a slower pace of travel, which is really nice too.
You can take a train anywhere. I love that.
Yeah. Did you move to Munich when you moved here? So tell me a little bit about that, because Isa is from Mainz and her family lives there.
Yeah.
Did you land a job? Like, what did that look like and choosing Munich?
Well, we chose Munich because her veterinary program was in Munich, but I landed a job before I got here just because I was networking a lot with lawyers from Canada, trying to do like coffee chats virtually with people, and then ended up finding out about the job where I worked for a while, for like a year and a half. And it was also in Munich, but it wasn't like I got the job and then we decided to move to Munich. It was her first choice veterinary school was in Munich, and then we just sort of figured it out from there.
So you didn't know much about Munich prior to living here?
Like zero. I knew that there was the surfing wave, like the Eisbach. And I remember when I visited Isa here, we were walking and I was like, oh, isn't the surfing wave over there? And she goes, yeah, but they're there every day. It's like not a big deal. But there's like a standing surfing wave in the middle of Munich. And it's like downtown. It's really cool. And that was the only thing I knew. And yeah, it's a really great city. I really like it, like culturally and stuff.
I love that it took you being shocked to kind of probably remind her that like, oh,
that it's crazy.
It's cool.
Yeah.
It is cool.
Yeah, it's downtown Munich. There's a standing wave. It turns out there's like 3 standing waves in Munich, but that's just such a cool sport. And since I've been here, I have gotten into river surfing. I'd started going to the Flusslande. I've tried on the Eisbach, but it's unbelievably difficult. But super cool. Like as a sport, it's just cool that it exists.
Nice. Yeah, I think that even myself, like I've been here almost a decade, which is crazy. I start to think of everything as just normal.
Yeah.
Which is kind of sad. Like I love it when people come and visit and they're like, whoa, look at this building. And like my friends are taking photos. I'm like, take those photos. Like do it. Like I love like seeing kind of like the sparkle of someone appreciating Munich for what it is.
Like they go to Marienplatz or something and you're like, this is just, where I go to DM or something.
Oh, this place with the tourists.
Yeah. But it is cool. It's a cool city. It looks nice.
Absolutely. I wanted to kind of pivot into a little bit of German culture and say that when I first met my partner Tim's mom, he kind of gave me a a brief of like, oh, she's like this. She's not like your mom. She's a little serious.
Okay.
And that kind of scared me. And then
Mm,
it was not true in the end. Like if
mm,
Charlotte is ever listening to this, like
mm,
you rock. And
mm,
I was kind of scared because I was like, oh,
mm,
cultural differences. Like I'm meeting
mm.
the German family.
Yeah.
How is meeting Isa's parents?
I think super positive. Like, I really love her parents. I think that was
Oh.
also maybe like a thing that helped make the decision to move easier, of just like she has
Mm.
such a great relationship with her parents, with her, she's a twin sister and they have such a
Wow.
cool relationship.
Yeah.
But her parents are phenomenal.
Do they speak English?
Like, yes, but her dad speaks perfect English and really enjoys speaking English.
Mm.
Like, he'll be talking to me and then he'll look for a very niche word to like use it in a sentence.
So cute.
And
I
I
love
really
it.
love that. And then her mom is uses uses English a little bit less,
Yeah.
and would be a little bit less comfortable in English, but she really makes an effort. And then the first year I was there, I could hear her. You know the sounds of like Duolingo, like
Yeah.
the really iconic little sounds,
Of
and I would just hear
course.
them in the other room because she's practicing in English,
Oh,
and I was like, "This is so
that is
nice."
love.
Yeah, yeah,
That
it
is
was really
so
nice.
sweet.
Yeah,
Like
so I
trying to
really
work
like
on
that.
connection.
Yeah, and then no, I thought that was really sweet.
And I'm sure it goes both ways.
Yeah, I
Have
mean,
you been doing your German Duolingo?
I have a different app, but yeah, same idea. I think, yeah, it's a really hard language to learn. I think I'm just now getting to the level where I can carry conversations. And my
Yeah.
girlfriend and I started this game that another Canadian told us about, where when you're in the apartments, you only speak German, which is
Mm.
really hard. But then once you actually get into the rhythm of it, it's such a great way to practice because you have a
Mm.
good couple hours every day where you're just practicing in German and you're just trying to use the language, and then it becomes a little bit more intuitive
Yeah.
versus, I don't know, Duolingo, you just learn like this word and this sentence, but it never gets like, you never have a feeling for it, I guess.
Yeah, I love that. You need to tell my partner Tim,
Mhm.
not me.
Mhm.
No, but it's hard, right? Like in
Yeah,
a
super
relationship
tough.
when you kind of had the foundation of English,
Yeah, it's
to
so
switch
easy.
that,
Yeah,
it's hard, but
yeah,
it's worthwhile. Like
yeah,
for sure,
yeah,
especially
yeah,
that we're both living here.
yeah.
It's
And
a way to
like
help our language.
most of the city, I think, is in English, but then there's always those situations that you run into where this person just speaks German, and if you can't do it, it really handicaps you sometimes. So it's
Mm.
really important to learn, I think.
Absolutely. I wanted to ask a bit of a deeper question now on the
Mhm.
topic of independence. So I think a lot of people, when they move to their significant other's country,
Yeah.
suddenly, yeah, with cultural differences, differences between the language and everything, how has it been for you? And do you feel like you have been able to gain a bit of your own friends and your own independence, or
Yeah. Yeah.
how has that been?
That's super. I totally know what you mean. Like, it's really tough at first because you have your girlfriend and your
Yeah.
girlfriend's friends, but then
Yes.
whenever you're with them, you're not Jeremy or Paulina, you're Isa's boyfriend
Yeah.
or Tim's girlfriend. Like, you're not your own person, I feel like. And then for the first couple months, that was definitely hard. I randomly found like a really good community where
Mm.
I tried to find different like groups and meetup groups, like running groups and that kind of thing. And none of them really worked except for I started going to this like writing group where people meet every Saturday and they like write their own kind of free writing thing.
Wow.
And I just wanted to try writing fiction. I still go to this event. I don't really write anything, but most people don't. And it's just a fun English speaking community where everyone's really cool.
Amazing.
And
Where'd
I
you
really
find
like that.
the community from?
It's just on meetup.com, which is like
Cool.
an awful website. It's basically unusable, but like,
Yeah.
yeah, I happened to find this group, and then I don't know, it just felt. One of my friends from that group described it as you feel like you finally exist because
Mm.
he used to go to a running group and no one really cared if he showed up or not. He was just
Mm.
participating, but he wasn't like an integral member. And then he started coming to this writing group, and if he missed a day, people were like, "Where's this guy? Where did he miss? Is he sick?" Or like,
Accountability.
yeah, it's like if people don't see you, they remember that you weren't there that week, and you
Yeah.
really feel like, oh yeah, like I matter in this little group. I have a friend group that really relies on me. And I kind of felt that with this writing group where there was a point where I was like, oh yeah, like now I have a little community and this is fun. Like my girlfriend was trying to make plans, and the first month that I was here, she can make any plans because I didn't have my own plans. I'm just there with her.
Yeah.
And then it got to one point where she tried to make plans for a weekend, but I was like, no, I have something on that day. And the next day I was like, no, I have something on that day.
You're
and the
like,
next
I'm booked and busy.
Yeah, I'm popular. Like, I don't know what you want.
I have my own friends too.
Yeah.
I love that though.
It was nice. And then work friends. And then also we have like mutual friends. And just having that little community, there becomes a point where it's not just your girlfriend's country and you're there. It's like your own place, your own, I don't know, home. And that's really nice.
Absolutely. I love that. What would you say, like, what's the mix of your friend group right now, international to German?
Definitely way more international. Like it's basically no, not all immigrants, but like a huge, want to say 75% immigrants.
I would say same,
Yeah.
even being here a decade.
Yeah. I mean, Munich is a really big city and just English speaking people, like all immigrants are going to be English speaking. And then you end up just kind of gravitating to these groups. And then also you have similar experiences like the Ausländerbehörde is like a traumatic experience that everyone has to go through.
You didn't need to say it out loud.
I know. No, I walked by it the other day and a friend of mine pointed it out to me and I genuinely got stressed just being near
The
it.
heart
like,
palpitations.
Yeah, it's an awful place. It makes no sense. I hate it so much.
For those who don't know what he just said, like that is the immigration office here in Munich. And if you're an immigrant, if you know, you know.
Yeah.
You wish you didn't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's a nightmare place. Every time I've been there, nothing makes sense. No one is able to do their jobs, but they're yelling at you for not doing your job of not bringing enough forms. And I'm hyper organized. I follow every rule and I'm still finding impossible to navigate the system. So I can't imagine that there's a right way to do this. I think it's just an awful experience for any immigrant.
Were you always hyper organized? Or has Germany changed you?
No, I don't think it's Germany. Well, maybe it is Germany has changed me, but no, I think it's also just being a lawyer. Like my job is literally read about rules, follow rules, put together documents. And I thought, okay, everyone complains about the Ausländerbehörde, but I'm going to go there and be like the best immigrant and I'm going to nail it.
They're doing it wrong.
Yeah.
I'm going to do it right.
But genuinely, I naively thought, like maybe they weren't organized enough. And then I went there, I was like, no, there's no way to be organized enough.
Yeah.
And all my coworkers, they're also foreign lawyers. They're from every country. Some of the most intelligent people I've ever met. And they're like, I just got yelled at for 25 minutes by some woman who said I was supposed to bring a form that I'm not supposed to bring. And like, I wasn't able to get a visa. I'm on the Fiction-Bescheinigung. It's a nightmare. And I don't know why it's like that.
No, truly. I currently have an open citizenship application and was recently contacted 20 months later. I applied in July 24.
Yeah.
And they told me that they had like lost it. Like, oops.
Oopsie.
Yeah, sorry. I mean, luckily, like my position still stands. Like, it's hopefully going through.
Yeah.
Just a few more months. But they were like, "Can you send everything again? We lost it all. Sorry.
No,
Tut mir leid."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Dang." I was like surprised, but not really.
Yeah.
Like,
no, you go there and you feel like, oh, these people have no idea how to do their jobs. Like, there is one guy. Well, yeah, maybe it's weird to shout him out, but there's one guy at the Ausländerbehörde who I talked to who's genuinely phenomenal.
Nice.
And then everyone else is just like they made me come in for an appointment to get a certain visa. And then I wasn't getting the visa and they told me to come back in a couple months. And I was like, why? And I kept asking because I was like, this doesn't make sense. I was supposed to get one of these two visas today. And now I'm getting another Fiction-Bescheinigung. And I was like, why? And then eventually someone in the room admitted after I asked a couple times that they just forgot to send the form to the employment office.
Ooh.
And that I had to come back because it takes a couple months.
Oof.
And I was like, oh man.
But hey, you cracked them.
Yeah, but like.
And found out the truth.
Yeah. And then I thought, okay, the next appointment I come back, they're really going to give me my visa. And then they just yelled at me for 20 minutes about how they're going to give me another fiction. It's everything I'm asking for doesn't make sense and I'm not supposed to get it. And they had no idea what my application process was like. Yeah, I don't want to talk about it too much because it's just not a fun subject, but it's why is it like that? Like it's such a weird place.
And for those listening, the Fiktionsbescheinigung is a kind of like temporary visa that they offer to you when they take forever in deliberating like the status of your actual visa. But I think the bottom line from this conversation is that if anyone is particularly interested in immigrating to Germany, particularly Munich, it's rough on everyone.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I have only heard stories of challenges between myself, and my immigrant friends.
Yeah.
It'd be like that. It's a little hard. It's challenging, but you gotta
Yeah.
keep at it,
Yeah.
right?
I think the weirdest part is you think, oh, it's Germany. They have a lot of rules and you just have to follow the rules. But there's like the rules, and then there's the people who work there's cultural understanding of how they're going to impose those rules. Like you're supposed to get a particular visa, but if these conditions are present, like your employment contract is about to run out, then they're just not going to give you the visa, and that rule doesn't exist anywhere, but they'll just self-impose it. And then you just have to kind of figure out from talking to them what their sort of made up rules are.
Yeah.
And then most of them will just tell me to get married to my girlfriend and just be like, if you were married, this would be a lot easier.
Oh
and I'm
my
like,
gosh.
yeah, man, I know, but
Like,
just let me
obviously,
immigrate like a normal person.
Oh man, that
Yeah.
doesn't help, right?
Yeah. And because I've talked to my girlfriend about it, and it's like the least romantic reason to get
feel
married.
you.
And you can't just, I don't know, like your what's your big proposal story? It's like, well, Jeremy had a form where he was going to get deported and I had to fill it out, or marry him. So we ended up getting married. It's just not a fun story, and it sucks.
Yeah.
But
No,
I should
feel
be able
that.
to just immigrate here like a normal person.
I feel that. My citizenship application is like by my own merit, which I'm also like proud of.
Yeah,
I'm like,
hell yeah, yeah.
ooh, like I
Yeah.
didn't get it like begging Tim, like please Tim.
Yeah.
But like obviously, I in no way want to shame anyone who has had to go through that.
Yeah, 100%.
Like who has had like someone's livelihood here in this country. Like I don't care what visa you applied to or how you ended up getting the visa in an honest way.
Yeah.
Very valid as well for people who do have to go through that.
Yeah. No, I think it makes sense. Like it is just easier because it's not a merit-based system. Like one of my coworkers, she's super smart. She's a lawyer from Georgia. She is hyper organized, and she was on the fiction for 2 years because she qualifies for the EU Blue Card, which is like the best of the best visa.
Yeah.
And they just kept not giving it to her and kept giving her the runarounds and kept giving her other appointments. And then she's on the fiction for 2 years, which also slows how fast she can get permanent residence.
Yeah.
And the whole thing is just a nightmare. And I don't know why it's like this.
So despite the challenges, of course, that come with being an immigrant and moving here for love, what would you tell someone like watching this right now who is in a position like you were, wondering, should I move to Europe? Should I cross an ocean or move across the world? For someone to take a risk on?
I mean, like, obviously the fun romantic answer is like, yeah, make the big thing. But I don't know, like your situation. I don't know if it makes sense. There are a lot of people I know who've moved here and broken up, like who moved here for someone else.
It
and then
happens.
I'm talking to them, and they're like, yeah, I moved here for an ex. I'm not seeing them anymore. And that's a real possibility.
Hey, and they were still here.
Yeah.
I've met people like that too, and they're
Yeah.
like, I moved for an ex, but like, hey, Munich's great.
Yeah,
and I'm
you're
like,
just still
love
here.
it.
And I think if I gave advice, it wouldn't be just move. It's also like, I was talking about this with Isa today, actually, that like it's you move, but then you also recognize that you still need to work on the relationship after that.
Yeah.
Like, I think I got here and I kind of coasted on this big romantic gesture for a little while of like, I've done it. I've accomplished love.
I made the big move.
Yeah. And you're like, yeah, I'm sort of done. And it's no, you need to keep showing this person that you care about them, that you love them. You need to keep doing romantic gestures, communicating with them, resolving conflict, doing laundry and like dishes. And I saw this quote that I really, really liked, of this person saying, love is not like a stone, like a thing that you get it and then you're finished with it. It's something that you need to make every day, like bread. You just need to make it today and make it tomorrow and then make it the next day.
It's like a sourdough starter.
Yeah,
You
it's
have
like
to
a
feed
sourdough.
it.
Love is like a sourdough starter, and you got to just work at it.
Yeah.
And I think it's important to recognize that if you do this big move, you're not finishing this big journey of like, now I've done it. You're starting a big journey together of like the relationship, and that's its own thing.
Absolutely. I want to kind of finish off by asking you, what is your favorite thing about Isa?
Oh, I made a list once. It was like a cute like note thing of the things I like about her, and it was like 2 pages, and I made sure to like run out of space of just like listing all the things. I think probably my favorite thing is just how she resolves conflict with me. Like,
Wow.
you know, conflict is like an ugly part of a relationship, but I think the time I really realized, oh, this is like a relationship I need to be in, is because we had ugly conflict, and the way she would resolve it, she would just have take accountability so well and like be so warm and I don't know, like focused on actually fixing it as opposed to just winning the argument. And I just felt really like, okay, this is what a healthy relationship is like. And I think that's my favorite part because it's so fundamental to what a relationship is
Yeah.
just being able to get through the hard parts.
Absolutely. I love it. It's so profound and it's absolutely true, right? It takes
Thanks.
work.
Yeah.
It takes work and like how you react to situations. Cause like you said, inevitably there will be hard times,
Yeah.
right? But it's
Yeah.
how you kind of react.
Mm-hmm.
Jeremy, thank you so
Thanks for having me.
much. Yeah, I feel like the time flew by.
Yeah, that was really fast.
It was a lot of fun getting to learn more about you and Isa, and I'm excited to have dinner right now.
Yeah.
And
I think
get
Isa's waiting outside.
to speak with her.
Yeah.
Yeah, but thank you so much for sharing. And if you guys have made it to the end of this episode, thank you so much for watching. Have you ever been in a long distance relationship? Are you potentially interested in moving abroad for love? Let us know down below. And until next week, thanks a lot. The Pod Abroad's video, audio, and music is produced and edited by Tim Teherne. Make sure to give us a follow and leave a comment if you like this episode.